Hello, hello, hello. Can everybody hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Hi.
Wonderful, wonderful. Just making sure that my working.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I
Yes.
trust you guys have had a great day and ready to get it on with your accounting class. Um, First of all, well, it looks like you're still waiting for a few more people. Let's see. One, two, three, four, five, six. 6 out of 10. Yes, that means we have a quorum. So we may as well get started. Hopefully, your colleagues will join us very soon. Now, before we get started, let me just introduce myself. My name is Samuel Wilkinson. I shall be your lecturer for the next. Anybody knows how long we'll be doing this semester? Anybody knows?
7 weeks.
7 weeks, yes. And those 7 weeks uh, are not going to be very long. They might say in that way because we have to meet twice a week for 2.5 hours after a long day of work. And so that might make 7 weeks seem longer than it is. And so here we are, 7 weeks of accounting, 14 sessions of debits and credits and accounting principles and concepts and balance sheet and income statements and journal entries and postings and all that crazy, boring, but important accounting stuff. So yes, 7 weeks, 14 sessions, Mondays and Wednesdays, 6:30 to 9 o'clock. Now, as I understand it, Monday sessions are scheduled to be Zoom sessions like this. And then after getting that bit of good news, I got the horrible news somehow that Wednesday's class is going to be what? Does anybody know?
At the school.
At the school. Is anybody in this class happy about that? If you are, say yes.
Very much happy.
One. Santonio said very much. It's one. Any
Very
other?
much happy.
Oh no, you're very happy?
Yes.
Oh, darn it. Okay, that's 2 out of 6.
Very much happy.
Crystal, 50%. This is not good. Okay. Well, so we at the moment we have a 50-50 situation, and so we'll see how our in-session classes go beginning on Wednesday at 6:30. San Antonio, why are you very happy about that?
I prefer face-to-face learning, honestly.
Okay. For those persons in your class who hate face-to-face learning nowadays, why do you prefer face-to-face?
You can comprehend and understand much more, and you wouldn't get distracted, in regards to this Zoom to do.
There goes the phone. That's it right there.
There you go. See, it's a lot of distractions.
Okay. So a lot of people do not have a quiet place where they can avoid distraction. Yeah, I guess that's one of the unfortunate parts of this thing. But personally, I mean, I've been teaching, lecturing for 30 years or something like this, and it's all been classroom except until 2020 when all of our lives changed. And I'm thinking, why didn't they think of this some time ago? And the only reason why I said that, and I've been thinking things face to face. I love face to face. I've been doing it all my life. But nowadays, when I think, oh, do I really have to drive there? And then do I really have to drive back now? So COVID has me a little spoiled. I don't know about some of you guys. But after 30 years of face-to-face, COVID came, spoiled me a little bit. Now I'm like, okay. All right, so we'll see how that goes. 50-50. Mondays at Zoom and Wednesdays face-to-face. All right. Yeah, let me just give you my contacts before we get into anything else so that you guys can make a note of it. I'll share my screen. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Please write that down. I'm always in my email, so if you need to send me an email, please send it. If you prefer to send the text, that's fine too. Not a problem there either. Okay. And of course, I should be available to my students for the entire 7 weeks. If you have any issues outside of the classroom session, please feel free to raise them if it's something that you feel cannot or you do not want it to wait until the next class session. Okay. Did everybody get that?
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes, I got it.
Well, I can stop sharing now so we can move on. Stop share. All right. Now that we have that out of the way, I can go ahead and take my register and see what's kicking in this accounting class. Has anybody in this class ever done accounting before?
Oh, in high school?
High school. And how many decades was that? Antonio?
I'm sorry. Can you speak up a little louder?
Oh, great. Okay. Let me see if I could speak up a little louder. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So you said you did accounting in high school.
Yes,
How many decades was that?
All 28 years ago.
Yeah. So that means that has all faded away like so many other things from 28 years ago. So consider yourself a brand new student in the world of accounting. Accounting has not changed since you did bookkeeping in high school, but a whole lot of other things are involved in the process that you would not have seen back then. All right, so you welcome aboard and
Thank you.
just have an open mind and you'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
All right, so let me just take my register first and foremost, and then we can move forward. Samantha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Samantha Antonio. Hey, yeah, Samantha Antonio. Antonio sounds very familiar. Somebody's mic is open, I think. There we go. So, Samantha,
Yes, sir.
are you related to all the Antonio Nassau?
Well, that's the thing because some of the Antonios, well, they're saying they're from the family islands and stuff like that. And well, my family origin is from Spain. So,
Oh,
so I,
yeah, we all have something. We all have something international, European, and otherwise going on. That's for sure.
yes, sir.
Make no mistake about that. I understand completely. A million years ago, I had a teacher in primary school. Her name was Miss Antonio. She was a tall, brown-skinned, no-nonsense primary school teacher. She might actually be related to you, perhaps.
Oh, what's the name?
I forgot her first name, but her last name was Antonio. She was tall, fair-skinned.
How long ago this was?
Uh,
Because I'm wondering if you're speaking about my grandmother, Inez Antonio.
did she teach at Shirley Primary School?
What's the school name?
Shirley, where the post office is now. Did she?
Yes, yes, she did.
I'm sure she did. Then that's your grandmother.
Yes, she passed now last year.
Yeah, I saw one of her sons the other day and I asked him for her, and he told me she finally went on to be with the Lord and relax and rest her nerve. Doggone
Yes,
it.
that's my dad you're talking about, because the other son is deceased.
Oh, really? I did not know. Yeah, but
Yes.
that father I knew back in the day.
Oh, okay, okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was telling him what an amazing teacher his mom was, and uh, she was quite a lady, quite a teacher,
Yes,
actually.
yes, sir, she was.
Absolutely. All right, it's a small world after all.
Indeed.
All right, let's see who else is in the room. Melissa. Melissa? Francis.
Hi,
Hi, Melissa. Welcome aboard.
thank you.
You know what? Maybe I can kill two birds with one shot. Melissa, hold that thought for a moment. I'm going back to Samantha so I can talk my program of two birds with one shot. Samantha, why don't you
Yes,
introduce
sir.
yourself at the same time to all of us?
I beg your pardon?
Introduce yourself to all of us.
Oh, hi, my name is Samantha Antonio. I work at the prescription parlor pharmacy in the accounts department. And I'm Anglican, and I'm looking forward to the class.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome aboard. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So this accounting should help you to formalize some of that crazy stuff that you do every day.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Melissa, introduce yourself to us.
My name is Melissa Francis. I work for BGC Limited. That's an engineering firm. I'm an accounts administrator there.
Okay. And that explains why you do accounting class.
Pardon me?
That explains why you're doing an accounting class.
Yes,
Excellent. Then you are definitely in the right place. Welcome aboard.
thank you.
Who else? Crystal.
Hi, everyone. My name is Crystal Ingram Wilkinson. I work at Calnus and Co. and the accounts department.
Please, mic is open.
Pardon?
Okay, there we are. Ah, okay, Crystal Ingram Wilkinson. So you're married to a Wilkinson.
Yes, sir.
Oh, darn it, it's a small world. I wonder if that's a Wilkinson that's somehow related to me that I don't know. I'm still meeting Wilkinsons, by the way.
Oh,
Absolutely. What is your husband's name?
Keishawn Wilkinson.
I've heard the name.
And his father's name is Carrington Wilkinson.
Oh, thank God. I know Carrington, not personally, but I know Carrington from back in the day as well. It is a small world indeed. All right, Crystal, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Mrs. Wilkinson. I need to tell my wife there's another Mrs. Wilkinson in the room. Okay, let's see. Mona.
Hi.
Hi, Mona. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mona Gustin. I'm currently employed with Fidelity Bank in the loans department.
Okay, and you're doing accounting because,
Just to become more of a greater asset to the company.
and to yourself for sure, they're gonna definitely
Indeed.
be beneficiaries of what you will be doing over the next 7 weeks. I hope they're paying for your course.
They are.
Good, doggone it. That means come September, you should do the other one too. Pass this one, let them pay for that one. See how it works?
Indeed.
Yeah. And don't put it off, because if you leave it
I
until
won't.
next year, for change. By next year, they may say, we're not giving some crazy stuff. So as soon as you finish this one, when September rolls around, tell them you're ready for the next one before they can change their mind about stuff. How's that?
Most definitely.
Way to go, way to go. Welcome aboard, Mona.
Thank you.
You know that Mona is a very special and unique name. You know that?
No.
No. Have you ever heard about the Mona Lisa, Mona?
Correct. But mine is just Mona. There's no Lisa or anything attached to it.
I know, but here's what happens. Here's how it works with the brain and people's minds. If I say Adolf, what would you say?
If you say, repeat that,
Adolf.
a doll or a dog?
Oh, that word is not familiar to you. Is anybody else familiar with the name Adolf?
Adol.
Yeah, Adolf. Man, they don't teach history to youngsters anymore.
Hitler?
Yeah, Hitler. Absolutely.
I
Then
was wondering, okay.
yeah, when you say, if I say Donald,
You know, that's Trump.
absolutely. If I say Lyndon,
Finley.
Brave,
Davis.
yeah, absolutely. So when we say Mona, the thing that comes to people's mind is Mona Lisa, because Mona
Correct.
Lisa is a very famous painting. All right, that's how
Correct.
that works. All right, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I forgot one name, Marguerite.
Well, that's Finley as well.
Yes. Is that a very special name in the Bahamas?
Marguerite. Kinlan.
It's recognized.
Yes, yes. At minimum, we have to give her credit for standing next to
Lyndon Johnson.
first Prime Minister of the Bahamas, yes, by taking on all the crazy stuff while he went out there to do battle with the whomever they were. So yeah, we'll give her credit for that. And that makes her name, I'm sure, among other things, important, like so many others. Okay, one more, Janet. Janet? Nothing? Nothing comes to mind, anyone? Janet?
Jackson.
Janet Boswick.
Yeah, Janet Jackson and Janet Bostwick. We'll go with both of them. Two famous Janets, okay? Way to go. Way to go. All right. Just want you to know it's not just a guy thing, it's a people thing. No matter what the gender bloody is, it's a people thing. Whatever we do, we do. Okay? All right, good stuff. So let's see who else is in the room. Rachel.
Hi,
Hi, Rachel. Introduce yourself.
my name is Rachel Smith. I am employed at RBC and I'm a mortgage assistant.
Okay, excellent. And you're doing accounting because
I have to do the course to finish the certificate.
they're forcing you to do it.
Yeah, I hate accounts, hate it.
Well, hopefully I can change that a little bit. I know accounting is not the most exciting topic in the world, but it's a very important one, right? So if you have to suffer and slave through it, that's okay. You will be better off, I guarantee you, at the end of the day. Better off than
Hopefully.
better off than any of your colleagues who have not done accounting. Okay, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Do not jump ship. All right.
What happened?
Do not jump ship. Please stay on the Titanic.
Oh boy.
Okay? No matter what happens, hang on and don't let go. That's what you have to do. All right.
Okay.
You saw the Titanic, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and remember what he told Rose? Hang on and never what?
Let go.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Okay. Welcome aboard. Take care. All right. All right. Candy.
Good evening.
Hi, Candy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Just fine, just fine. Introduce yourself to us.
My
Candy.
name is Kendisha Miller. I'm employed at Fidelity Bank head office.
Okay. And what do you do there?
I work in the office of the president, so I assist with management reports.
Oh, gone at the office of the president. Means like somebody needs to kidnap you then to get all they get all of the juicy and intriguing information. Uh,
Inside.
that's,
So,
that means that you are like any other banker expected not only to be confidential but super duper highly and vigorously confidential.
yes.
Got it. Ah, I don't envy you at all. That's a hell of a place. Yeah, good stuff. The fact that you were selected even to be there means that they have the greatest amount of confidence in you, clearly. Okay, so welcome aboard, and
Thank
hopefully,
you.
yeah, you can add some accounting principles to your repertoire. Because surely you're not going to be in the president's office forever. You have other things to do in there.
Right.
Absolutely. So don't try to get you stuck in there. All right, welcome aboard. Okay, so we have, I guess, looks like the 6 persons who are going to be here for tonight. Uh, the other 4, I suspect they will join us, if not later, um, next on Wednesday, hopefully. But for now, let me just do a little bit of housekeeping. Now, tonight, uh, you'd be happy to know I'm not going to host a lecture tonight. Tonight is purely for introductions and housekeeping and any questions you might have. And so tonight might be the only night you get off, quote unquote, scot free a little bit. Not entirely, because we're already into 1 hour of this thing already, surprisingly. But I will let you go a little bit early, I believe. And then come Wednesday, we will be in harm's way with all this crazy stuff. So that would give you the time off when we break to start reading for Wednesday's class, please. The goal for us is to cover at least one, let's see, 2 chapters. Yeah, maybe 1 to 2 chapters on average per week over the 2 sessions, 1 chapter per session, including examinations, etc. That means we'll probably finish somewhere around 10 chapters or thereabouts. And if we do that, that would be amazing. Because those chapters would involve all of the fundamental things that I would want you to be introduced to in your first level accounting class. Like anything else, accounting 1 is very foundational. It's like building a foundation to a house or to somebody's character. If the foundation is not solid, I don't care what you put on top of it, you must know that it will not hold. Accounting is a discipline that is no different. You are encouraged. Oh, sorry. Mona is asking about textbooks. Thank you, Mona. I'll say something in that in my housekeeping notes. Okay. So yeah, this is the foundational course. For those of you who go on to accounting 2, this will be your foundation to help you get through accounting 2. For those of you who make the mistake of not doing accounting 2, you would still have this foundation that will carry you quite a significant way, depending on what your work is all about. Of course, this accounting is not only going to be useful for work, potentially, whatever work that might be, but it is also helpful and would be helpful once you start making applications to your own personal lives. So you get 2 for the price of 1, accounting to help you professionally and accounting to help you personally. Okay, so as you start to feel a little beaten down and weary and man, I don't get it, and all this crazy stuff, just keep on keeping on. Remember, it's not over until the fat lady sings. Right? It's an old expression. Okay. The other thing I want to mention straight away, my classes tend to be, we have lectures, we have reading, we have discussions. If you have any questions or concerns or issues you'd like to raise at any time in my sessions, please interrupt me. I really don't have a problem with interruptions at any time. I could be in the middle of anything I'm saying. If you think of something you want to say it. If we're in class, put your hand up or just start talking. If you're on Zoom, just start talking. I have a question. Like my other students do. I have a question. Please feel free to do that. I will not take it personally. I encourage you to do that at any time in my sessions. We already agreed that we will have 14 sessions, 2 times 7 weeks. The Zoom meetings will be on Monday, and those who enjoy face-to-face will be there on Wednesday. Is anybody in this class so far not in New Providence? Okay, so everybody's in Nassau. Wonderful. Sometimes you have students in the Family Islands or Turks and Caicos or somewhere. And so when we have face-to-face, they don't get to do face-to-face, but they join us in the classroom when we're doing face-to-face. So in those cases, we have 3 scenarios: Zoom completely, face-to-face completely for some, and then hybrid for some, face-to-face plus Zoom in the same classroom. Fascinating that COVID has brought some interesting things. All right. Textbook. Has Biffs told anybody in this class what textbook you will be using? Does anybody know?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Samantha doesn't know. Anybody knows? Okay. I understand, to answer Mona's question, that the textbooks will be ready for you when you go to class on Wednesday. So I would encourage you guys, if you need to know how much it costs, you would have to call the Institute tomorrow, speak with Miss Dean, Mrs. Dean, or if she's not there, somebody else will be able to tell you, I suspect, what the cost of the accounting textbook is, so that when you go in on Wednesday, You can go straight to the whoever is selling the textbooks and purchase your textbooks. I encourage you to do that on Wednesday so that you can begin your reading straight away and certainly have it available for the rest of the week, especially for weekends. Summer classes go quickly. Weekends are your best time for reading, studying, and doing homework. Monday to Friday, after work, you have class. Then when class is over, you pooped, and then you only have a day or two in between, and then other things happen. And so your energy level from Monday to Friday has to be pumped up. But Saturday and Sunday, those are the days that you have totally available to you. I suggest, unless you have something very important to do on Saturdays and Sundays, you do them quickly. Try not to wear yourself out. Allocate enough time to put the energy and that you need into homework and reading effectively and studying. Don't wait until the last minute to start studying stuff and making notes. Okay? Every weekend, beginning this weekend, start your review, start your notes, stay on top of your reading so you don't get stuck or you have to try catching up. Catching up, especially during the summer, anytime is a pain in the butt. During the summer where the time goes quickly and the weeks are short, even more so. Okay, so you are going to be doing some crazy stuff between work and these 7 weeks of the summer session, trying to learn these new accounting concepts. But you have to plan your time. Anything that is not absolutely crucial, leave it alone until week number 8 when you're done and finally finished with your class, and then you can go back to your normal routine. When your weekends come, try not to do anything that's going to leave you tired, so that when you get back in the afternoon and try to read something in the chapter, you cannot keep your eyes open because the mall or some other activity, wedding, funeral, I'm just kidding, whatever it is, ties you up and you're pooped. Okay? So just thought I'd throw that little, sure you guys know that. That's just something I do as a reminder. So on Wednesday, tomorrow, call and get the cost of your text. I would suggest tonight send an email and call tomorrow so that by end of day tomorrow or early Wednesday, you have the amount one way or the other, so that when you go in the afternoon, you will know exactly what you expected to pay. I would suggest you go in maybe 15 or 20 minutes before 6:30 on Wednesday so you can purchase your textbook and then comfortably relax and flip through it before through chapters 1 and 2 before class begins on Wednesday. Our goal on Wednesday will be to cover at least 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is not very intense. It is just some opening comments about the accounting concepts, etc., etc. And then chapter 2, well, you'll see when we start on Wednesday. And then, of course, since you're just getting your textbooks on Wednesday, you have now the rest of the week and the weekend to go back and read that stuff and solidify the things we would be discussing in chapters 1 and 2. Any questions so far? Okay. Remember, you can interrupt me anytime. Is anybody curious about exams? Nobody, I said any questions, nobody said anything about exams. Is there a reason for that? Anyone curious about examination information? Yes, no? Maybe?
Maybe.
Okay. Finally kicked in. Well, Since you insisted, maybe.
How intense is it?
Sorry?
How intense is it?
That would depend on how much time you took to do your homework and to read your chapters and to review the material that you will be expected to know for your examination. So that is an excellent question because it causes me to tell you exactly what you need to do, which is what I just did. Okay? Tonight is the first night of your semester. Unfortunately, you don't have your textbook yet. You won't have it until Wednesday. But by the time we're done on Wednesday, you have enough starting information to get you going for the rest of the week so that you can catch up. And I will be assigning homework for the weekend. My goal is to assign homework every week. And the reason, or that's the goal anyway, and the reason for that is not to make you miserable, but to get you to practice. Accounting is not like economics or religious knowledge studies or some abstract course like that. Accounting is pretty much hands-on. Accounting does have its abstract and its concepts, but a lot of it is hands-on. So the way to become very effective and to learn and remember the material better is through homework. Practice, practice, practice. Okay, like playing an instrument. So my goal beginning this week is to give you homework so that on the weekend you have time to do the homework, do the reading, do all that stuff, and then present the homework to me the following Monday. You will get credit for the homework. I will not be going through to mark every piece of paper for the homework. That's not my goal this semester for summer. That's going to drive everybody up a wall. My objective in assigning homework is to quote unquote force you to practice. And for being so kind as to be forced to practice, there's some students, if you don't give homework, then they start thinking that they could remember the stuff in their head. And then that does not work very well for accounting. And so what I do these days is I assign some homework, 2 questions, so that students can then go and practice. And then for the entire semester, I assign an additional 10 points for all those persons who complete the homework. Now, some students, how do I know what's right or wrong? Well, I will look at the homework that you present, and if I see certain things that are not in order, I should make a note of them and we should discuss them. Okay, so that if there's anything in your mind that you're not clear on, you can get it cleared up. And of course, you're free to ask any questions about any piece of homework that you feel is necessary for your own personal clarification. So the whole thing again is designed to be interactive, to get you to practice, so that I can highlight any points where you're way off the deep end on something. I'm not too worried if you're off course by 1 or 2 debits and credits. That doesn't worry me. I look to see if you're way off in your understanding of a particular area of concept entirely. And those are the things I pull out and we discuss along with any other questions you might have with regards to the homework. There's another 10% available for persons who enjoy coming to class. Part of that 10% is for participation, which means that doesn't mean you should just rattle on just to get the points, but it's really designed to encourage you to first come to class, because that's very important in accounting, being there, being present. And secondly, to get involved as much as you can. And ask questions, raise issues, give examples, point out things that, without calling any names, that you might want clarification on, that might be helpful to your colleagues, that kind of stuff. Okay. Also, I pursue your participation by having you, I don't do all the yapping. I have my students give feedback, read chunks of material for discussion, stuff like that, so everybody can be involved one way or the other in the process, and so that you can earn those extra points. my experience has been for many students, those 10 points have been allocated for homework completion, and those 10 points have been allocated for coming to class and being involved in any way. Oftentimes they are the difference between an A and a B, a B and a C and that other stinky word that nobody wants to hear. All right. You will have 2 examinations this semester. You will have a midterm examination, which will be worth 40%, and you will have a final exam, which will also be worth 40%. You'll be happy to know that your final exam will not be comprehensive. Does anybody know what that means? It will not be comprehensive. What do I mean? Anyone?
Meaning that it would be practical?
Getting warm. Can anybody add to that? The final exam will not be comprehensive.
I guess it wouldn't be much of, I would say like a test. It's a test, but not theory.
There'll be some theory. It's getting warm indirectly. Can anybody drag the 2 of us to where we're trying to go? The final exam will not be comprehensive. What does that mean? Crystal, what does that mean? Oh God, he called me. Okay, Samantha, what does it mean?
It won't cover all the course material.
Okay, that's yeah, that's pretty close. The fact that it's not going to be comprehensive means this: when your midterm exam is completed, it's done. When final exam rolls around, it'll be based only on chapters that we cover after midterm. So I will not take you back to the beginning and ask you questions again about what happened throughout the initial chapters, because you would have already been tested on that. So your final exam will be based only on those chapters after the midterm. And theoretically for us, give or take, the midterm will be probably based on chapters 1 through 5, and the final exam will probably be based on chapters 6 through 10, maybe an extra one depending on how well we do. Okay. And so that's what you can expect. So the good thing is, once you're done with your midterm, you're done. Come the end of the semester in week number 14, which is when you'll have your final exam, not week number 14, session 14, which is when you'll have your final exam. You will not have to go all the way back to chapters 1 through 5 and try to review that again. You will only be responsible from 6 to wherever we finish, which is usually around 10, 11 chapters. Right? So the remaining 5 or 6 chapters. Question?
Now, I heard you said that 40% would be midterm, 40% final exam, and 10% participation. What
Right.
would the other 10% be allocated to?
That would be allocated to those persons who are bold enough to do their homework and submit
Oh.
it.
Homework, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So my thing is, and I encourage my students, I'm not going to like take out the little kit and say, here, coochie kind of thing. When I give homework, what I'm trying to do is get students to deal with it independently, to say, you know what, this homework, when I do this, this is not going to kill me, even though I may feel like I'm dying. This is designed to help me to practice this material so that I can be better, and so that when examination time rolls around, I can score better. And on top of that, I get extra credit at the end of the semester. Okay, that's the whole idea. All right, so when you sit down to do your homework, while life seems terrible at the time and you're sitting there while everybody's having fun trying to get through the material and all that, just know that there are great benefits to completing those assignments. Benefits not only for the semester alone, but benefits that will be with you long after the semester is done, because you would have gone through that process. And it always has benefits, one way or the other. All right. Good stuff. Good question. Let me see if there's anything I left out. I believe your textbook, please write this down, should read something like this. Are you ready, everyone?
Yes.
Principles of financial accounting. Principles of financial accounting by Needles, yeah, Needles, Powers, edition 12E. So Principles of Financial Accounting by Needles and Powers, edition 12E. Now, if you don't get that particular text, then you need to let me know, because it would mean that something has changed in the text department, and I will then have to call them and say, hello, how come the lecture doesn't have an up-to-date text? All right, so as soon when you call in tomorrow and or send your email, find out the details of the text, who it's written by, and the edition, and then somebody can send it to me.
Mr. Wilkinson,
Okay, so
I didn't get a clear name of who it was written by and the ending part of the edition.
okay, it's written
by
Needles
Needle
and Powers.
Power. Needle?
Needles, yeah.
Needle, yeah.
Needle like go with
Go with
S at the end.
S at the end. Pardon?
Needles and Powers.
Power. Okay, edition
12E.
12E. Okay, thank you.
Quite welcome. All right. If anybody gets a text that is different from that, I need to know straight away, because that means now I have to go find out what's going on. But that should be it. If it's not that, let me know. All right. Did I leave anything out? Did I say I was lecturing for a million years? That I've been with BIF since God knows when. That accounting is not the only class that I teach at BIFs. I teach professional development classes as well, trust classes. Does anybody in this class familiar with the term TEP in the trust business? No? Well, that's the professional designation for professional trustees. Back in the day, in one of my lives, I used to work in the trust environment for a while. I've been teaching trust and estate courses and certifications since forever. I teach auditing, I teach all kinds of crazy stuff. I taught at COB, currently UB, for about 20 years. I taught at most of the tertiary institutions in the Bahamas that existed for the last 30 years, including Nova Southwest Eastern University, including St. Ben's and John's University. And so I've been doing this on a part-time basis for a long time. Lecturing is not my primary job. My primary job over the years has been as a retail banker. I worked at Bank of Nova Scotia long time ago as a lending manager. So I did all kinds of lending for the bank at that time. And then after that, I was studying accounting and they didn't have any place in accounting for me to practice. So I resigned from Scotiabank, much to the chagrin of a whole lot of people. You're leaving Scotiabank, how are you going to make it? Same as other folk, but I need to find somewhere I can practice my accounting. Um, and so for many years, I worked as a financial controller in several industries, including banking, uh, transportation and hotel. And then that was the first part of my life. And then the second part of my life, I worked as a private banker with several offshore international banks. I worked with the Brazilians, I worked with the Swiss, I worked with the French Canadians, I worked with the non-French Canadians, I worked with the Filipinos. And so um, in all kinds of jobs from compliance to MLRO to second officer to all kinds of crazy stuff in these organizations. And so, yeah, I have seen quite a few interesting things in my time. And so hopefully that little bit of information will convince you that I should be able to get you through the semester successfully. Does anybody have any idea, like, what do you think accounting is anyway? What do you think accounting is? Like, give it a rush. What is accounting? Anyone? Doesn't have to be an exact definition. Just tell me what you think it is. No, no idea. Never heard any kind of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a process or work of, of keeping like financial records and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is the process of keeping financial records. Can you think of any financial record keeping that occurs in the accounting world?
Like reconciliations.
Yeah, reconciliation for the bank and the books.
Hmm.
Yeah. Does accounting require the production of any financial statements?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Can you think of any statements that are produced in financial accounting?
Sorry, you can speak up a little louder, Mr. Wilkinson.
Can you think of any statements that are produced in financial accounting?
This phone is so low.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, this is very, very low, so I'm trying to like
Yeah,
turn the volume up to the loudest. I'm sorry.
no problem. Yeah, I think your mic is try and turn it up as loud as you can. And maybe turn up the computer as well. It could be the computer.
Okay, let me check it.
Check the computer volume.
All right. Okay. Can you fix this for me?
Okay, while we wait for Samantha, does anybody else have any idea about accounting? Like what kind of financial statements you might see in the accounting world?
A statement of cash flow.
Yeah, statement of cash flow. Oh, you went to the big one. Yeah, the statement of cash flow is definitely one of the very important statements that even people in accounting don't like to deal with because it tells you how money is spent. And sometimes money is spent in a way that certain parties don't want you to know how it's spent.
Correct.
Yeah, so the cash flow statement is a very important statement. It shows how all the money comes into the company and it shows how the money is spent. And if it's done properly, if anything out of order is taking place, it probably would be discovered somewhere along the way, unless somebody has found a very clever way to hide it. And of course, there are always persons who are trying to be clever. And for some people, that's a smart word for crooked, thieving people. All right. So the statement of cash flows. Any other statement comes to mind? Anyone? There are two other,
The income statement,
yeah, the income statement. And the other one,
Profit and loss statement.
I'd be happy to know that the profit and, I'm glad you said that because you're reading my mind. Actually, the profit and loss statement and the income statement are the same. I'll tell you why we have the difference, just for information. In
well,
the
I need,
United States, they do not use the expression profit and loss mostly. They use the expression income statement. It's an American expression mostly. In the UK, profit and loss statement is very common. That's where it originated. And of course, you know, the Americans don't want to copy everything of their forefathers. So they changed it from profit and loss to income statement. But they are exactly the same in practice. Okay. Thank you for raising that. That's important to know. So what's the third statement that comes up all the time in accounting?
what about the cash flow statement, Mr. Wilkinson?
Yeah, somebody said that. I think the other Mrs. Wilkinson said that.
Oh, okay.
And so we have the cash flow statement, we have the income, profit and loss statement, and we have another very important one. Very, very important one.
Mhm.
That's a B.
Balance
Is
sheet.
it the balance sheet statement?
Yeah, the balance sheet. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Let's see what else you're thinking about. Does anybody know what the difference is between bookkeeping and accounting? If there is a difference?
I think there is.
Bookkeeping and accounting. Any difference? Or are they the same? What do you think? Or do you think they're the same? They're different?
I believe bookkeeping has to do with keeping the records.
Yeah, it does. I know it seems a little like, really? But yeah, that's why we call it bookkeeping, because we're keeping the books. And keeping the books in accounting is about making sure that the records are properly maintained. One of the things that you will see very early in this class, what do accounting records look like? What do we call them and how they work? And so bookkeeping is really the steps that we take to make sure that those records are used properly, that the information that goes in them are correct, and that whatever we put in is consistent with the correct process to ensure that all transactions that occur within the company or entity are properly accounted for and are correct. So yes, and basically that is what bookkeeping is all about, the recording and keeping of all financial transactions. Now, accounting, on the other hand, is oftentimes considered an extension of bookkeeping. By that, we mean when the bookkeeping process is done, it is completed using a process that we call the accounting cycle, which you will see very soon into the semester. And the accounting cycle takes us from the transaction stage, recording every single transaction, through the posting stage, through the trial balance stage, to the preparation of a balance sheet and income statement. What's another name for income statement, anyone? What's another name for income statement?
Profit and loss.
Yes. All right, and it's important to remember because I might use them interchangeably, and if you don't know both, you can get a little mixed up unnecessarily. Okay, they mean the same. One is the British version, One is the American expression, but they mean the same. Okay? And so from transaction to financial statement is the bookkeeping process, the accounting cycle. Now, financial accounting, when that discussion comes up, usually means that once we have the financial statements prepared, we're getting into discussions about how to interpret the information. What does it mean? Bookkeepers who are experienced can interpret information as well, but they are typically not trained one to interpret financial information, even though they eventually could over time. Many of them can't because they just do the bookkeeping. They don't get into what all that stuff means. They just do the bookkeeping, posting, preparation side of things. And then, of course, the accounting side is the interpretation of the information. What does it mean? Who needs it? Does it have to be audited or not? To what extent we will go with regards to analyzing and interpreting the financial information to help management to make decisions about the financial future of the company. So that side of the fence is considered to be the accounting side. The more what we call sophisticated conceptual side of taking the information that the bookkeepers prepare and then using it with management, by management, through management, to make decisions about the financial and other future affairs of the company. Very important difference between some people use bookkeeping and accounting interchangeably to mean the same. Now you know that you could use it interchangeably if you understand the extent of the limitations, but you now know essentially what the key differences are between bookkeeping and accounting. All right. And you guys are getting warmed up already, and we've not even warmed up yet. Okay, let me just see if there's anything else of interest before I live up to my promise for this one evening. Does anybody know what a business transaction is? What is a business transaction?
An interaction between a client or a human and the business entity.
Yeah, basically an interaction between the client or the customer and the entity of the business. Very good. Couldn't put it better myself. And so usually this transaction usually takes place between client and business, buyer and seller, whatever the arrangement is. And so when that happens, it creates what we call a transaction. Can somebody think of an example of a transaction? What would be an example of a transaction? Example of a transaction.
A cash purchase.
Yeah, cash purchase. I don't know if any of you guys still eat stuff. Some in the old days we used to, after the movies, we used to buy something called chicken in the bag. Anybody knows about that? Chicken in the bag? What the?
Yeah, I do.
Rachel, how come you know about chicken in the bag?
You know, you got to stop the Keats when you're coming home from the club.
Right, but you know about Keats?
Yeah, Keats was a sport.
Right, that means you're not as young as you sound.
I know you.
That means you're not as young as Keats. Oh my God. Yeah, is Keats still there?
No, not anymore.
How unfortunate. Yeah, they used to sell one of the most delicious, greasiest chicken in the bags. For you youngsters who don't know anything about chicken in the bag, it's a sad, sad time. When you guys go to get chicken now, they give it to you in a plate or some kind of saucer type thing, you know, and that's not chicken in the bag, right, Rachel?
Right.
That's chicken on a plate. That doesn't count. You've missed that chicken in the bag experience. If you ever hear anybody say they're going somewhere to get a chicken in the bag, follow them and buy one, and you will see what we mean. I don't even know if they still do that anymore. Absolutely. All right. So a transaction, yeah, is simply a cash transaction. Some, for example, where you buy a chicken in the bag for about $7. You pay the $7, they give you the chicken in the bag, and that is a transaction. So what happens is when you give the $7, you increase the cash account for the chicken in the bag company, correct? Correct, everyone, anyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you increase the chicken in the bag account, because you bought the chicken in the bag because of how delicious it is, what happens to your account?
Decreases.
Decrease.
Yes. So in every cash transaction, somebody's cash goes up and somebody's cash
Goes down.
goes down. In accounting, we have words that we use for that, like debits and credits.
And credit. Mhm.
Yeah. And so finally, some of you are going to see debits and credits work in practice. You may have heard about it, you may have touched on it somewhere for a moment, but not really understanding entirely what you're doing and why. This class is going to help you understand what you're doing and why you're doing it that way and what it means. So, for example, uh, somewhere in this semester soon, when you receive cash for the company, you're going to say, I need to put this transaction in a journal entry. And the first thing I'm going to do, because I receive cash, I'm going to debit cash to increase.
Mhm.
And then the next thing you will learn in accounting is that for every debit, there must be a credit.
Credit. Mhm.
Yeah.
Credit sales.
Debit cash for $7. What do I credit? And the answer would be, well, you made a sale. You sold
Mhm.
the bike. So you will credit sales for $7. See that?
Mhm.
And this is a very basic bookkeeping principle about how to account for business transactions. See? All of a sudden, once you put it in a language that people can understand, then it's not so gruesome anymore. Uh, I had a I had a class once, an economics class that I was teaching, and when I prepared the final exam for that particular group, I prepared the exam in such a way that when I was asked to provide the answers for the examination for cross moderation, uh, the registrar came back and said, these answers seem to be so simplified. I'm like, really, Madam Registrar? That's the whole idea. So that students can understand what they're doing. Because sometimes even lecturers and academians and institutions oftentimes present information in a way that students come in confused and they leave even more confused. And my philosophy has always been to take the complicated wherever possible and to simplify it, because that's what teaching and learning is supposed to be about. If you want to sound complicated later, fine. But it's supposed to be about taking complex information, breaking it down into parts so that students and others can understand it. That's real learning. And so I wasn't surprised when she said that. It just reminded me of how persons in the educational world still have a misconception about the importance of simplifying curricula. See, another crazy word. All right, good stuff. The other thing in accounting, other than transactions and postings and debits and credits and double entries, all of this stuff we're going to be talking about, you're going to read it in chapters 1 and 2 and beyond, is that accounting transactions are measured in terms of money, often referred to as monetary value. Anything that is monetary value has to do with money. Just for your information, in case you never heard it and you're not sure. So everything in accounting is recorded in terms of dollars and cents. Quite as simple as that. We do not record anything in accounting other than in dollars and cents. Okay, so keep that in mind. We do not debit trees and flock and cows and bulls and all that stuff. We don't do that. What we do is we assign a value to them. And the value is a monetary value. It is a dollar value. Once we come up with a monetary or dollar value, then we go ahead and post the transaction. So instead of debiting 10 cows, we say we debit the value of 10 cows, which is $50,000, for example. Okay? That's how we do it in accounting. Okay? Every single transaction is brought to a monetary amount, doesn't matter what it is, and then all right. The other thing I want you to remember going forward, and you'll see all this stuff very soon, come Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the weekend that you already promised me, that you will only do the very important stuff, and the rest of the time you will devote to your accounting for the next 7 weeks. The other concept that you'll come across sooner rather than later in accounting is something we call the separate entity concept. What that means is that typically your personal affairs should always be kept separate for accounting purposes from your business affairs. I have private clients that I consult for, that I do financials for, that I give advice to, and all this kind of stuff. And some of them, you tell them all the time, you have a business, you want to go to Vegas to gamble and have fun, don't just go into the company's bank account and grab a chunk of money, because you might be grabbing out some money that the company needs to pay payroll, to pay BEC, to pay other commitments, to pay bank loans. And if you take it out in a big chunk, and those commitments come and you don't have enough, then your company is going to be in trouble. But sometimes people don't listen. Even though they pay me to give them advice, they don't always listen to what I tell them. Most of the times to their own detriment, unfortunately. Okay? So this separate entity concept thing in accounting is very important. Accountants, bookkeepers encourage business owners, if you have a business, you should have 2 accounts, one for your business, one for you personally. Do not mix them up. That is what the separate entity concept is. And the only other thing I'm going to leave you with tonight as you ponder your accounting future this semester, I hope I've left you with a couple interesting nuggets already that will appeal to you, and that you will not jump ship when the going gets a little bumpy. Okay, don't worry about the bumpiness, just hang in there. Keep on doing homework, keep on reading, keep on asking questions. That's the deal. No matter how funny you look rocking on that boat throughout the semester, no problem. Do not let go. At the end, you should be satisfied. Final point for the evening. In business, there are 3 types of entities that you are likely to encounter. Anybody ever heard those 3 things? The three entities, three types of businesses. Three typical types of businesses. Ever heard any of them? Right?
Partnership.
Yeah, the partnership. Very good. Andy? The partnership.
Sole.
Say it again.
Sole owner.
Yeah, the sole. Yep, the sole proprietorship, the partnership, and what's the third one?
I think it's corporation or limited.
Yeah, the corporation. Absolutely. So the sole proprietorship has one owner. One owner. That's why it's S-O-L-E, sole. Comes from the Latin word which means one. Okay. The partnership typically is made up of two or more owners. And the corporation is made up of many owners who we refer to as shareholders. Okay, so those are the three basic types of entities or businesses that you are likely to encounter anywhere in the world: the sole proprietorship, the partnership, and the corporation. See, I told you it's going to be more than just debits and credits posting to a ledger account and printing off financial statements. You're going to learn some other interesting things about the world of business, not just pure, unadulterated, stinky accounting sometimes, because it could get a little monotonous unless you love it. For those of us who love it, it does not get monotonous most of the time. Those of us who don't love it, it is considered for some to be hell on earth. However, do not let that diminish the importance of the concepts in accounting that you will learn and that you will benefit from in one form or another. All right. So, if anybody has any questions before we break, now would be a good time. Anything I may have left out, didn't say? Samantha?
Well, I mean, technically, we are all our own accountings. I mean, we may not be good at it, but I mean, it's like, it's a part of everyday life because you spend cash and you do transactions. So I guess it's just learning the concept behind it. And I mean, that's basically about it.
We're all involved in transactions every day. And it's a very normal process but that companies use to have
Mhm.
information for their managers and shareholders. That's what we're learning. The formal
Mhm.
most of us are just doing our own personal thing. But this thing that we're learning is a formal version of accounting. So those of us who work for accounting firms or businesses can understand why we're doing what we're doing and the importance of doing it in such a structured and methodical way. Okay?
Agreed.
Absolutely. All right. So what we'll do, we'll break here and I'll leave you to do like Mary, ponder on those things, and please get the information on your textbook so that you can pick it up on Wednesday, because on Wednesday when we get to class, we will be finishing up chapter 1. Some of the things I discussed came out of chapter 1, and then we're going to go right into chapter 2. So you're not going to have too much more breathing room going forward. Just stay on top of the game and do not let anybody take you away until week number 8. Make sense?
Agreed.
All right, you guys take care. I'll see you at Biff's on Wednesday at 6:30.
Okay, good night.
Okay, good evening. Good night.
Good night.
Good evening.
Good evening.